Thank you again for joining me, Brian Danielson, on another episode of Tennis Volley Talk here. Hey, today what I'm going to be doing also is another over-the-phone interview today. Now, this friend and person I've talked about on my previous podcast before, because he and I and another friend of ours grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, playing tennis practically every day. And with that, he actually, another reason why I'm just kind of going to be covering his tennis journey with what he came up with, and then also something that was very special that is actually kind of a tennis memorabilia history that he ended up getting to me, which is really great, and kind of a combination of what he sent me and what I was there doing the same thing there. And actually, he ended up getting and sending a program of, went through Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time, World Team Tennis. But anyway, with that, thank you for joining me on Tennis Volley Talk, my friend Jerri Crowel from all the way from Vegas. How you doing today?
Oh, doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, you're so welcome. I mean, it's a pleasure having you here with me and kind of covering with this, and amazing in itself that you actually had in possession. And at the time, we both were at, did we go together or did we go separate that night?
Because I think we went together, but with other people with us.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's what I remember, is that we all, I think it was you, me, John, and that was about it, or maybe somebody else that was a tennis person in our group at the time. But we all kind of went as a group, but then we kind of filtered off on our own little expeditions through that night, and being able to watch what we were watching with that, and being able to see World Team Tennis, and actually having icon like Chris Evert coming through Tulsa, Oklahoma and playing. But she actually did come through Tulsa before. And during her junior years, and they all played and came through. Connors came through, McEnroe, Chris Evert came through, and they played over at Tulsa Tennis Club, which is over on somewhere by Yale and 31st area, in that big neighborhood over there is the Tulsa Tennis Club, and they played there as juniors. And so Tulsa is really kind of prevalent with getting tennis players coming through Tulsa at the time. But with that, it's amazing in itself that even survived, and you had the thought enough to be able to, oh well, okay, I'll just keep it. All these years, and that's been let's see, that's been close to, well, that's been 50 some years, about 50 years that you've had that program. which has survived good.
I knew you had that collection of tennis rackets and no memorabilia and stuff. And I don't play tennis anymore.
How dare you?
Back in the day, so I thought it would be best to give it to you to add to your collection. I didn't really thought about giving it away because it had all the teams that was in the league and the names, and the tennis tournament, Chris Evert was there, and a few, and I got that's probably one reason after we got done, I went down on the court and got autographs,
mm-hmm.
and I figured you would like that book with the autographs.
Yeah, and an amazing thing is that whenever I was going through it, I mean, with we I think it was the Golden Gators that were there, and then the other team I can't remember, but I don't have that right handy with me. But Fru McMillan and Francois Dour. Francois Dour was a professional tennis player on the WTA tour at the time, but she had such a different kind of a game that nobody could really get used to, because it was a soft, very soft slow hitting game, and the ball would come over so slow that they would overhit it a lot. And then we had Fru McMillan that was there that you got an autograph from also. And with that too, he was the one. He had two-handed forehand on forehand and backhand, two hands on both sides, and that was amazing in itself. And then another one that you ended up getting was Betsy Nagelson, which was an up-and-coming young pro at the time, and then Terry Holiday, which actually my last interview that I talked to was from a teaching pro that teaches in one of the housing additions here in Minnesota, which actually played in '82 US Open, and her doubles partner was Terry Holiday, which was actually one of the contestants in that World Team Tennis, and she was an up-and-coming young pro at the time too. So that kind of came full fruition in a way. But the best autograph that you didn't probably realize that you had at the time, the best autograph was you got a rare, probably signature of the one and only Bobby Riggs that played Billie Jean King in the Battle of the Sexes way back in the day.
Yeah, I knew about it, but I just figured that you would appreciate it. I didn't want to throw it away. I wanted to go to some place where it would be appreciated, and I knew you would be the one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is a rare thing to have, and a rare find all in itself anyway. But with that, if you can tell, this is the cover of the World Team Tennis cover. I have, because the thing is that I was there. You were getting the autographs on the program. I didn't even think about getting a program. Otherwise, I probably would have. But me at the time thinking, oh, what, $1.50 or $1.25 for a program? Oh, that's too high. I don't think I want to get one.
Yeah, back in those days, yeah.
So, but anyway, what I did, I was the one, I kind of ventured out, and I was on the court taking pictures of all the pros too. And one of the ones that we were just sitting, and we were sitting really close to the court and where our seats were at the time, because I'm showing the picture of the cover, but a picture I took of one of the broadcasters that actually is interviewing Chris Evert, and you can tell that's Chris Evert in that picture right there. That I took myself with that. So that was kind of a cool thing to actually find also, and actually get and have that opportunity to take that picture too. And then with that, you have let's see, we have Fru McMillan's autograph, and then we have Francois Dour, which is right here. And Francois Dour, right here, right there is Francois Dour. And then Fru McMillan down here, and you got that autograph. And then, of course, then the one and only Bobby Riggs autograph, which really is actually an icon and probably a rare autograph to be able to get. And then with that too, then I have actually pictures that I took of. Then you have Tom Ocker that was there. He was one of the players. They called him the Flying Dutchman. And then it's and with that, and all of a sudden, hey, and guess what? We actually have a person that we grew up with that listens to my tennis volley talk program, Mary Steiner. She's giving us a hello and a comment. Says hello, Brian, and then I actually played tennis with her dad, and he was a very good tennis player too. But with that, here's the pictures of what I have. There is Fru McMillan there. There's Tom Ocker. They called him the Flying Dutchman. There's Betsy Nagelson, and then on the looking at her is Terry Holiday, and then of course we have the icon right here of let's see, we have that. And then we have that is right there, Bobby Riggs, which then I have the picture of along with the autograph of Bobby Riggs. So, but yeah, amazing in itself that we have a person that we knew back in high school, Mary, that we knew back then. And she's saying hello to us on the comments here for us too.
Yeah, it's good to hear from her.
Yeah, it is. And amazing in itself that now the thing is with that is that how, I mean, you and me and our friend John, that was also a very good tennis player in his own right too back in the day. We kind of got together and we were going to a little we went from you came into like the junior high where I was going to from elementary, which was Skelly Junior High. And then you kind of came in, and then you, me, and John kind of formed a friendship and a bond together. But then Skelly actually made just one little tennis court out in the field over by the road. And so
hardly anybody ever played on it but us.
Yeah, I know. Hardly anybody played on it. I think it was asphalt. I don't think they had any kind of color on it at all. I think it was the net, asphalt, and the lines painted on the asphalt, and that's how we started playing tennis ourselves.
For us being the age we were, the heat didn't bother us much, and we played in the heat and cold, and a lot of times nobody wanted to play during the heat.
Oh, and that is so true. Back in Tulsa, it was summertime in the heat it was nothing to be 105 out, and the heat index about 97 out or something like that, and we were just still out there hitting and playing, and heat didn't even bother us back then.
I wish it was same thing today. But,
I know we get older and we just kind of get, oh my gosh, that heat is hot.
But we pretty much live, breathe tennis. And we started out, with cheap rackets, and we were playing. And as we got a little bit better, we started getting better rackets and playing more. And other people started playing in our group, and we went from there. We went to Hale High School, and we started playing on their courts, which were a lot better.
Yeah, they were a little bit better. They were just a little bit different. They were just the white cement courts with painted yellow lines and chain link fences fence part for the net. So yeah, that was a little different. And that was fast. That was a fast surface. So you had to learn to get that ball in front of you too a lot.
It was hard to get to be where it was hard to find a court, and they were building courts all over Tulsa at the time, which now they're leaning a little bit more toward pickleball, but there's nothing like the sport of tennis.
Well, that is true, absolutely, for sure, with that. But it was really kind of funny because I remember though, whenever I was like spending a lot of time at home, and my mom decided to say, well, hey, why don't you just go out, go out, you're always home. So then you and John and I discovered tennis, and then it was like, okay, I got tennis, learned tennis. So I made it over to Skelly, and we started playing like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'd play till about 11:30 or so, go home and eat lunch at noon, and get changed, go back out. We'd be out there at about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'd play to 5 and go home and eat dinner. Where are you going? Out tennis. We gotta go.
Yeah,
we'd be out for another court.
I literally was wearing out a pair of tennis shoes a month.
Oh, I know. It was like there were holes in it, and you'd have to
put some more money, get a nicer pair, which really did really good. I enjoyed it, but I was still wearing them out. So.
Oh yeah, I mean it was like, and our parents were going, what, $50 or $10 for a pair of tennis shoes? You need some more tennis shoes again? $10 was pretty high back then for tennis shoes or so. but it was so amazing in itself, though. And when did it really actually kind of hit you, as far as the tennis bug hit you? Was it during the time that we were always playing, or was it just that it just kind of hit you and tennis was your life at that time?
Oh, well, like I said earlier, you, me, and John, we would start playing with a cheap racket, and we'd play, and we played more, and it just seemed to become part of our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell you when we got serious. It just came.
Mm-hmm.
I know we entered tournaments, and we were registered in the court, the circuit. But I can't say enough. I knew the program would be good for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They started the league back up again. Since I am now living in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
they had a team here.
Mm-hmm.
It lasted about 3 seasons, and then the COVID-19 killed it. And I was actually looking forward to that team being here, going to the games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's true. Yeah, it was. I mean, they kind of came out with it, and then during that time, they actually then had it played in a central location in Florida with all the teams, a certain amount of teams, and then that just kind of fell through. And when it hit, it just kind of, no money, no interest, no people, so kind of went to the wayside, unfortunately. But with that, do you remember? With going out, and remember the only the park or the tournaments that we used to have at La Fortune Park that was run like the Tulsa Tribune and the Tulsa World tennis tournaments that ran through La Fortune Park at the time, which was just amazing because there was probably at any one given time in a tournament, mind you, the guy running the tournament was juggling over 1,000 people that were in those tournaments in all the divisions, from starter to beginner to intermediate to then the open and the guys that could play really good. And I must say that you and John kind of picked up tennis a little bit better than what I did. But I still was a grinder, and I still fought for everything whenever we played, even though you guys were beating me, and I didn't like that very much. But you did. You did.
You have your days. What stopped me from playing is that when I did something stupid and I got married.
Oh, well, that can happen sometimes.
And then one time, you or John, we played another guy who was playing with his rod, and they made a comment like, "It's a good thing you're not playing us anymore. We would destroy you." That was just enough to bring me out, and I started warming up, and it was really cold, and I lost. And we came back to play. There was a team we were playing. I forget whose team was on what, but I lost the first set badly, and I think it was Ron that came up and said, "Well, maybe we ought to split up the team, make it more fair." And one thing when I played, I don't know if anybody else was ever like this, but I didn't like warm jackets on. I liked the shorts, and I played better with less on.
Yeah.
And we came back, won the next 2 sets, and then match, and walked up to the net. I said, "Well, maybe we ought to split it up to make it more even." And after that, I hung my racket up.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the best.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But it was still amazing in itself that when we moved over to Hale, to actually then we kind of fell under the wing of young kids and under the wing of guys that were at the old, I called the old guys at the tennis court that were in their, late 40s, 50s, 60s at the time. That we ended up they took us under their wing so we could start playing with them. And so there was not a Saturday that went by that they must have been up there at like 7 o'clock in the morning starting to play. We'd get there about 8:15 or so, and then it'd be full courts, all four courts, doubles playing. And then you'd have to wait around until one of the guys, oh, I got something going. Hey, come on in and fill in. And that's how we started playing with those guys.
Yeah, they kept us busy, and there was another group of core farther down from the school that had lights. There must have been like 20 courts.
Mm-hmm.
I think the name of the area, but you could always. They were almost full all the time. So that was back to the days where tennis was, everybody just talked about it. And today, unfortunately, you have to be a tennis lover, where before people would be talking about Jimmy Connors and different people, and they didn't play tennis.
No, that's true.
Unfortunately, at times. So hopefully it's starting to come back.
Well, it sure seems to be with all the new up-and-comers like the Sinners and the Alcarazes out there now. That number one Sinner from Italy, absolutely a pounder and just can pound the ball and consistent as all heck. And then Carlos Alcaraz is now the Spain equivalent of taking over Rafa Nadal's position as far as the Spaniard that plays tennis now, which both are so very good too. And then with that also, just to have the up-and-comers too that are young and coming up and hungry to get in there and win the titles also. But it's also becoming harder and harder for one person to win, like the past dozen years or so with the big three, which were Federer, Roger Federer, and Rafa Nadal, and Novak Djokovic, one of which, Djokovic, still playing on a high level at his age at 38. So amazing in itself there. But he's kind of winding down, and he's kind of passing the baton over to the younger guys right now.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to believe that I'm now considered the old guys.
Yeah, I know. How crazy. He's an old guy at 38, but it seems like a lot of guys in that age range, in their upper 20s into their 30s now, literally have caught a second gear, and because of everybody's in such good and works out in such good shape and have the physios and keep their body in a fine-tuned. Tends to work, and they tend to play longer now in their 20s, the late 20s, early 30s.
First, when I moved from Tulsa, I moved to Houston, and there was just no courts, and so I didn't play. But I got into running marathons.
Oh, okay.
I was really into running, and I kind of wish when I was playing tennis I did some running like I was doing the marathons with the tennis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the two combinations together would have made me a better player.
I'm sure it would have, because you would have had the endurance to just track anything down at the time. And that would have been frustrating enough as it is.
I know. Some of the times you come out, they sweat up a storm, and I think that would have helped. Anybody who's out there or getting into tennis might do a little running, maybe 3 times a week. That's just a mile.
And then infiltrate that with the tennis. That would have been just like, holy crackers. You would have been, if you could have kept that up or whatever. But for whatever reason, it just, we have our own parts of life that happens, and then you couldn't find anybody when you moved to Houston, and so it kind of went to the wayside in a little bit. Me, I just kind of kept it up because it was the individual sport that I kind of was fairly decent at, and besides back then, that was cardiovascular exercise and working out at a club in a sense, but we didn't know that. It was just fun.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I've said this before, but we live, sleep, breathe tennis.
Yep.
And I mean, hats off to you as far as still playing it. And also, I hope your followers know the collection of rackets you have. It's very impressive. I've never seen. I mean, when we used to play with wooden rackets, and they were the top at the time.
Oh yeah.
And then they started coming out with some of the graphite, the iron ones, and steel.
Steel, yeah.
And then I played with the T3000. Forgive me if anybody was a fan of that, but I thought it sucked.
It was a sledgehammer almost, really.
You have to. Some rackets were very forgiving. You can hit it right on the side, or even on the racket.
Yeah.
You can still get it back. But if you didn't hit it right in the middle,
yeah,
it would die.
Yeah, I know. But you'd have to hit it right in the middle of that T2000, 3000, 4000. Those rackets right there, you'd have to hit it right in the middle in order for it to have some power that you'd have on your strokes and everything. But with that, I mean. And you tennis players out there on YouTube that listen to my YouTube, like, subscribe, and comment. And then you podcasters also, you're going to be hearing about the Racket of the Week here coming up pretty soon. And then, we do remember the metal rackets, Mary. With that, we played with them. I played a little bit with the T2000, but I kind of had I think I had the Tad Davis rackets. And then I went into the Wilson racket myself later on. It was a little bit more sturdy of a racket, like the Jack Kramer and the Stan Smith Wilson rackets of that time, the wood racket. But with that too, the aspect of with you podcasters out there, like I said, you're going to hear and you're going to be able to hear about the Racket of the Week coming up, but then also like, subscribe, and comment on my tennis podcast. If you want to take a look at the racket, you can go to Tennis Volley Talk and then take a look at it if you want to take a look at it here. But yeah, with that, I don't know. Did you ever play tennis with Mary's dad at any time or not?
Actually, no. I didn't know he played tennis at the time.
Yeah, I myself, I ended up and had been, friends with Mary. She worked with us at our old hunt that we had at a movie theater, Bowman Twin, back in Tulsa, that we worked at. But she worked there too. But I kind of, with her, getting to know her, and I kind of got to know her dad because she told me her dad played tennis, and I kind of ended up playing tennis with him one day. But boy, when I started hitting with her dad, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I got in over my head on this, because he was like, we were thinking we were good. He was like, compared to us at the time, he was in the open division probably as a player. And he just like literally was running me ragged, and was like, it was nothing. I tried to hit as hard as I could, and it was like he'd stand there and kind of go, yawn a little bit and go, can you hit it a little bit harder, Brian? It's not coming over hard enough for me.
I would like to play. I considered myself a damn good player. At the end, I started playing around with the two-handed backhand, and able to do some cross volleys. But a lot of times water running under the bridge to right down for me to play. So.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's like you'd kind of wonder what the hell. But however, I'll tell you, we did have one of our class reunions that we went to, and we hooked up together with a couple of our other friends. But I happened to have rackets in my car, and there was the courts. And as we were coming out of the old high school hunt, the courts were there, and I did actually get a picture of you actually hitting a serve again after like 30 years or 10, 15 years, and hitting a serve again. The form looked pretty good still. You had your eye up and your ball, you had your eyes up on that ball, and you were coming through and you were stretched out. Had pretty good form still.
Yeah, I hit it right in the square, and I knew then I better quit.
Yeah,
use the racket.
That's right. Gave me the racket. That's the last time you touched one. Oh my gosh. But me,
yeah, it was actually a good serve.
It was. It was actually in. It was actually a good serve. Of course, then me on the other side, I would have pounded it cross court, and you would have had a chance at it anyway then. But
if we had another racket, we might have tried to play around.
Yeah, we could have volleyed a little bit. I thought I should have thought of that. We could have volleyed a little bit. See what you had still.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to beat you, but feel bad.
Yeah, I know. I would have had to tone it down a little bit for you to keep up with me. So what the heck.
Well, after all, I think you are older than I am.
Well, not quite, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I know it's always fun, and I still love this game of tennis that has kept me in the health that I am to this day, and still get out and try to play singles with the young guys. And I even have been in a local tennis tournament in Elk River, a little town not very far, about 15 miles away from here. I play in a tennis tournament. I've been playing in that one for at least 20 years. And this year I'm going to be in all three divisions. They have a mixed doubles, and they have the men's singles on Saturday, and then they have it's the open, and then the men's A, and then the men B if it's a lot of guys that are in it, and they kind of filter off to the B division. So kind of in that respect, it's not by numbers anymore, as the newer tennis people may think, like the 3.0s, 3.5, 4.0, 4.5. In that it's kind of by division still. It's in the open division where the guys that have used to play college that are really good, and the kids that are in college now that are really good, and then they just have it's called the open, and then they have the A division, which is it's kind of divided up: good, the better, good, better, and best. And then we're in the better division, which is the A division, which I'm in. So I can come up against any one of the young high school kids that are consistent and have the legs that I don't have anymore to get to things. So that can be a challenge in itself.
When you change your game and go for the one thing, I had especially in doubles. A lot of people didn't like this, but whenever I hit the ball, I was actually trying to get the player.
Yeah.
You can't hit the ball back if I hit you. So,
yeah, that's right. If I hit you.
And, I think one thing, if you're getting into tennis, don't be cheap on the rackets. The better the quality of the racket, that literally helps your game. You can tell a difference when you hit with a good racket versus a basic cheap racket.
Well, that is correct. Absolutely. And it's a little bit more effortless now with the new composite rackets instead of the old wood or the steel rackets or anything of that nature with that. But, in that respect, it's just so amazing that we had that time together, and to grow up with those guys on the court at the high school, and to have those guys that were a part of us and that helped us and grew our game. But of course, when we came up and started playing those guys at the time, we thought we were hot shots coming from junior high school, going to high school. We're gonna beat these guys. Boy, did we find out different, didn't we? They were sly buggers, weren't they?
I was ready to play them. But one thing about tennis is that if you play somebody that is better than you, it literally helps your game.
It does.
And then when you play somebody that you destroy and you're so much better, it really hurts your game to play somebody who's not very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those guys were just really showing us more as far as like, yeah, they were controlling our power that we had. We hit hard, but yet they were bringing it back with soft pace. They were hitting the angle shots, and they were running us ragged back when we first started playing them. It was like, oh my gosh.
I think you played them more than I did.
Yeah, I did. I ended up kind of falling under and I was just on that Saturday morning going up there and playing with those guys, and just became such a good group of guys to play with for a young kid coming up and playing tennis too. In that respect of having those guys there, and many of them ended up being very good friends of mine. And talking to them and knowing them over the years that I knew them. So I knew them good 20 years, almost 20 years after I was done with high school. I just kept up with them and everything. And some of the personalities that they had Julian Williams that was from Alabama, but he could remember everything. Every set that he played, he remembered playing the number 4 guy in New York one time, and he would I had him down 6-3, and then he beat me 6-4, and then that was the only time we could ever play. We only have played 2 sets, and then he'd have his little Alabama accent there, and then Haywood Kelly, and then Dave Klarman, of course, he had 2 forehands on each side, and those guys were a test with everything that we played. But it just made us grow and be better tennis players as we grew up with them too. And of course, you and I and John played. Of course, then his brother joined in too with us, and his brother was a really good tennis player too.
Yeah, I actually never played him.
Oh my gosh, David, his brother was, and David's still around. He still plays tennis, from what I gather. But he,
I think he's still in Chicago now, last I heard.
Yeah, he might be very well. But with that, it's just amazing.
Used to be Ron, and out of all the one thing that I regret is that you had make some good friends, but we fell out of friendship there at the end. I wish that would never have happened.
Oh sure, sure, yeah, I know it was and I think it was all over some tennis anyway. I think the whole thing was. But who knows with that? But with that, just to have those guys, to have them and grow up with them, and have our formidable years with those guys to have us, and with you tennis players out there, like I said. With this, you remember how you started and how that bug hit you. Make a comment, like, subscribe, and make a comment on my tennis YouTube podcast here. And then with that, and then also with the racket of the week that you're going to be seeing here. Then also you YouTubers out there, like, comment, and subscribe. With that, if you want to take a look at the racket of the week that I'll be showing, be sure and go to my YouTube tennis podcast, Tennis Volley Talk too. With that too, now here I'm going to be showing you, and with you today, here is, it looks in what it is, made by Garcia racket company, and it's called the Continental 2000 racket. It has a very similar look of the Pat Davis Imperial racket that I used to play with. very thin at the throat. It has the very same, but it's black half of the racket, probably made of ash, very hard wood, layered ash wood. It has the black of the bottom part of the racket. This racket happens to be, and it's still a very sturdy, very heavy, nice racket, a little bit warped, but you could still probably hit it a little bit. But it has red lettering in Garcia, white lettering Continental 2000 on the black of the bottom of the racket head and down the throat a little bit. And then it is made in, actually it says made in Italy is where it was made at. But of course, that's kind of their little fancy thing saying that, that was manufactured in Italy, shipped it to the U.S., and then U.S. Sporting Goods sold it then at their sporting goods stores at the time. So that's not too bad, being made in Italy and being probably, that this was an imported racket from the manufacturer in Italy, Garcia, with that. But actually...
Where do you find these rackets at?
Oh, I just find them all over. Sometimes over now, sometimes at the Goodwills or Salvation Armies that you come across one, and that I don't have, and I get it. I pick it up, for pennies on the dollar now.
I was going to say, what makes you choose a certain racket for the racket of the week?
Well, it just kind of like the interesting part of it. I'm trying to more filter with the more older rackets, and the older rackets tend to have the treadling, the extra string that you would see at the bottom of the racket, at the top of the racket, right below the last main string, and right above the main string at top. Now those rackets are a little older. Those tend to be around about the 1940s and 50s, in that area, and into the 60s. They tend to be in that era with this kind of racket. And then with this particular racket, this looks like it was restrung, so it very well could have had. But if you know kind of the story behind those extra strings, was kind of the first kind of string dampener for strings, in like the little rubber thing that goes in between the strings to keep them, secure. That's called the little rubber dampeners. That was used as really the dampener of strings at the time, and it's it's a handcrafted racket, is what they say. So, but it's interesting because it's called the Centennial 2000 Garcia racket in the USA. Actually, well, maybe in Italy too. It could have started about the 70s and 80s. It was kind of a late comer to it, and they kind of continued with the wood rackets in the 70s and 80s. And the metal ones came out in about 78, and kind of then started going to the wayside with the wood rackets in that respect. And Garcia were making the wood rackets, 70 in this, started about the 70, early 70s, 72, 73, 74, in that area that they started making them. But still, it's a very good racket, and it's the black on the sides. And here it says made in Italy here. So it very well could have been like the racket that was manufactured in Italy, but then they transported it, or they sold it exclusively then through sporting goods in the USA, or they sent them to the USA and they got them that way and then sold them in their shops. But it's still a very good racket, needless to say. One of the newer ones that kind of came in later in the respect of racket manufacturers, because a lot of racket manufacturers started way back in around in the 1890s in that area. With that, it just kind of a little bit of tidbit of interesting history that you may not have known, but I like to show people the racket of the week. And you YouTubers, like I said, if you want to take a look at it, go to my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and then make a comment, like, and subscribe. And you YouTubers, make comment, like, and subscribe with that. And then I like doing these and being able to talk to people there. And as far as that, you got to learn a little bit something about a tennis racket then.
You remember who Martina Navratilova, what racket she played with?
Martina Navratilova, I believe she started out with a Wilson racket, I believe.
I know near the end she wasn't playing with Wilson. I forgot what she was playing with. But to me, Bobby Riggs, one of the greatest men players.
Mm-hmm.
But Tina Navratilova had to be the greatest player of all time, of all players.
Yeah. Oh, she was so, and that even also with her coming up and doing what she did with her career, that even made, because Martina was a little bit, she was a little bit younger than what Chris was, not much, but she started getting herself in shape and eating right and playing.
Oh yeah, she was one of the first ones that would have a nutritionist.
Yep.
That would travel with her.
Mm-hmm.
And prepare certain meals to then other people started getting into the more nutritional after that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And and with that kind of started making Chris Evert kind of thinking, after she was getting beat by Martina, then that kind of made her start getting into shape and better playing shape. And then it was a rivalry then. And what a rivalry it ended up being.
Yeah. It was always good to watch their games.
Oh, it was, definitely. And with that too, to be able to have all of this, and then plus to be able to have now the program and actually have a rare signature of Bobby Riggs that you ended up getting, that I put it together with the picture I took of him looking at my camera. I took that picture. That's an amazing thing in itself, how it kind of came full circle.
It's a home that really appreciates it.
Oh yeah, it does have a home that appreciates it at this time. That is such an appreciative thing for you to be able to do that for me, and I cherish it right now, and having it, and having what I've done, and with having the autograph, and then plus being able to have, because in our own right, it's kind of come full circle with you having the program with his autograph and me having the photograph of me taking the picture. So
I didn't know you had the photographs of that, and so it's even better.
Yeah, that is. I kind of connect it with the Bobby Riggs autograph then. So kind of a combination and full circle that we've come from that event back in '76. So yeah, and the program, I must say, has held up very well for 50 years, and you've had it for 50 years.
Yeah, I kept it in a good spots where,
Yeah.
Other than a little spot on the cover where I got it on the night, I kept the, but other than that, it's pretty good shape.
Oh, it is. It is very much good shape there. Yeah, and thank you for that, Mary. She was saying that me and you were good players also. So we thank you for that. We do appreciate that, Mary. And I'm glad that she likes the tennis volley talk and the podcast that I do. Keeps her entertained, I guess, and being able to take a look and watch it whenever it comes on too. But with that, it's nice. But with that, there, it's so wonderful to be able to also reminisce with you as far as how you began your tennis career. That I've actually kind of carried. I've actually carried the torch for all of us that I remember. You, me, remembering our friend John, that was a good tennis player in his own right too back in the day. He was a fast little guy too. He just got everything, but he was a very consistent player too.
Yeah, it's amazing. There was like 5 of us in a group, and it's down to just 2 left.
Yes. Well, I that's why I keep playing the game, because I keep carrying the torch for me, and the friends long gone by now, but we still remember with our tennis hearts, that we remember them.
Yeah. Well, I still run a marathon once in a while, so
Oh, that's good.
I keep busy somewhat.
That's good.
Next race due, I have to wear a running jersey with your
Yes.
website name on the back.
Yes, that'd work. That'd work. I got to get you one of those, a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That'd work. And I know a guy that can do the T-shirt, the emblem on that, my emblem. So I might have to get a few T-shirts then, and let some people know about it, and how to go to a site to get it or something, so we can maybe see what happens that way.
I think a few people might want those.
Yeah, maybe. I'd like that. That'd be good. That'd be cool. So, but with that, I do so appreciate to reminisce and catch up with how we both began with our tennis career, and going through and being in Tulsa at the time, growing up in such big tennis time that we grew up in. With that, I so appreciate you being on my podcast today, Jerri. It's such a wonderful time catching up with you and talking tennis like I do, and I still like it. I still like talking tennis. So I do appreciate you being on Tennis Volley Talk with me today.
I've enjoyed having me on anytime.
Okay.
If anybody wants to ask me a question, you can ask Brian. He can ask me.
Yeah.
But
any
I have to comment with Brian to keep the tennis going. So.
any tips on roulette or blackjack that you can get us? No, just kidding.
Yeah, there's one. Don't play.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, Jerri, you have a good day, and such a pleasure talking to you again.
You take care.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there we go. That was such a good interview. I appreciated being able to cover everything with him, and plus being able to get the World Team Tennis program. So it is very good to be able to get that from him, and to be able to show it to everybody today, along with the pictures that I took that were kind of the full circle with that too. So everybody, I appreciate it very much. If you like that, make a comment, like and subscribe. If you like the phone calls, over the phone interviews, I do like doing those. And with anything else, just get out there, keep playing. If it's nice out there during the week, get outside, play tennis, and keep on hitting. And I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.